Hello everyone, welcome back to AHGL. This is week number 4. I am Maynarde. With me is my good buddy Zepph. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing excellently, and I'm pretty excited to get into the games that we have up for today. I believe it is going to be Amazon versus IBM.
That's right, or IBM versus Amazon. Whoever you're going for today, we are going to jump straight into the game. Not much pre-game for us today. Let's get this into gear. I'm pretty keen to see what happens, so let's jump straight in and have a look. All right, re-enabling that sound. In the top right here, we have got someone we've actually casted before, Zepph, because we had some Amazon games in the preseason. This is Metzelmats, rocking that rather handsome clan tag, making good use of that new clan system in Heart of the Swarm. And in the bottom left, who is this?
This is our blue Protoss. It is a train.
A train or a train?
A train?
Maybe
yes.
we'll call him
that
a train.
That would probably make more sense.
It probably would,
yeah,
but who cares?
A-Train.
This is the Protoss player, A Train. And we are obviously watching a PVZ. Let's watch it unfold. Now, yes, actually, it looks like we're about to mention that would there be a Forge Fast expand, or would there be, in fact, a one-gate expand, which we saw last week, which was pretty cool on one of the new maps. I think it was Newkirk City.
For sure. Protoss are starting to switch it up a little bit. In both Heart of the Swarm and Wings of Liberty, getting that Gateway and Core trying to throw off the Zerg from the general Forge Fast Expand antics, but I think it actually has a lot of good points to do in Heart of the Swarm because of that Mothership Core. You can get that out a lot earlier, which is very, very nice as a scouting tool, as a harass unit, as whatever else you need it for.
Absolutely. We saw that the name escapes me, if you can remember the Protoss player, but he actually attacked with 2 Zealots and a Mothership Core, and actually did a whole lot of insane damage to the natural of the Zerg. The Zerg didn't even have a third up yet, and he was already doing sick damage, being able to use the DPS of that Mothership Core with the Zealots in that drone line, doing incredible amounts of damage. Now, it looks like he might actually be going Nexus first here. This is pretty greedy here from A-Train.
Yep. Sure is, but having scouted with that probe, he knows he's not up against any sort of early pulls or any other shenanigans from the Zerg, so he's just going to go ahead, harass the natural of the Zerg player himself and block that hatch for as long as possible, so he's actually going to have a nice lead on that Nexus.
Did actually manage to get that hatch down, only floating a few minerals, so it's not too much of a delay there, but it is little bits help. These players are actually reasonably high level. I was checking out in the loading screen in Heart of the Swarm, you can see the leagues of the players, and I'm not sure if league matters that much in a beta, but certainly gives you a bit of an indication of where they are at the moment and how much Heart of the Swarm they're playing, and it looks like both of them are actually busting out quite a lot.
Yeah,
so,
that's great to see. Getting into it. Getting
it done. Of course, you and I need a ladder straight after this cast, because as we've just realized, there is actually special portraits that you get if you ladder up to a certain level. I think you have to be level 5 in each race to get all the portraits, and they carry on to your main account when you get the full release on March 12th. So that is pretty sick, and I want all the goodies. I'm a bit of an achievement whore myself. I'm going to make sure I get as many as possible. And this is a pretty quick third here from Metzelmats. So this is the vulnerable spot for the Zerg, and generally where the Protoss will attack first.
Yeah, for sure. So pretty standard ZVP play from Metzelmats so far, going for that 3-hatch play, but I'm wondering if the state of the game in Heart of the Swarm has switched up for Protoss, because currently it's very much centered about 2 and 3 base all-ins, especially since attacking down these chokes can be very, very beneficial for the Protoss player, but given that they have a little bit more to play with on this map now in terms of air units, we could actually see something a little different. It may go to a longer macro game.
Well, this is already quite different, Zepph. We're seeing 2 gateways first from the Protoss here. No cybernetics core has even been started yet. So definitely no Mothership Core for quite a while for him. He's delaying that cybernetics core more than I've seen in a long time. Now dropping the 2 gases in the main there. Going for another scout on that natural. He did actually see the third and the natural there.
Yeah, and the great thing about this is 2 gates means double Zealots in production. He is chronoing one of those out, and it's very nice to walk out with 2 to 4 Zealots. Even you don't even need that many, and the Zerg is going to have to respond with a fair few Lings, which of course will not be lava spent on drones, and that's exactly what you want to do. We've got 3 heading out already. The Link does scout one of them, but I don't think he catches wind of the others.
Yep, just saw the one Zealot there. So he actually doesn't have much of an idea of what's going on here from A-Train. So this could actually catch him with his pants down a little bit. Cybernetics Core finally going down on that ramp there. Just going to make sure that if in case there is in fact a run by, good building placement there in case of force fields, which are always pretty handy in PvZ. A must-have, I think you'll agree. So we got one Zealot sort of holding the high ground here while 2 more go down that tower. He definitely doesn't want to give away the fact that he is going heavy Zealot in the early game here, going straight for that third now that he knows that the Zerg doesn't have the towers. And there is really not much here at all, Zepph. No spine crawlers.
Yeah.
And I don't even think there's a Roach Warren just yet. No, there's not. So just Lings will be the defense and Queens, of course, for the Zerg. And this third is already in big trouble.
Yeah, he's played this so well already, just getting these Zealots out here unnoticed. Looks like he's going to be able to take out maybe a couple of drones, maybe get some shots off of the Queen. But already 8 Lings on the way. That's not going to be enough to take this out, though. You need 4 Lings per Zealot, and there are 5. So he's going to need 20 Lings at least if he gets a good position on each one of them.
And he's got 16 in production more, with actually 10 more Behind that. Getting Ling speed just started now, the metabolic boost. So he's going to not have... He's going to have just slow Lings against these Zealots, and this is still enough Zealots to kill all those Lings, just like you mentioned, Zepph.
Yep,
and sure. 2 at a time is not going to work for him, but these Queens will make a difference. Transfusing that hatchery. Can he save this hatch from the Zealots? It looks like he might actually be able to.
That made all the difference. He's not going to get this hatchery, and that is such a huge steal for Mental Matt's. A great defense using the Queens there.
Very nice. Actually didn't lose that much at all. Lost 2 workers in that attack. Sorry, he only lost 1 worker. He's already killed 2 of A-Train. So he's actually killed more workers than the Protoss so far. And the Protoss basically just gave up 600 minerals worth of Zealots. Or was it 5 Zealots? 500 minerals worth of Zealots for damage on a hatchery. And a couple Lings.
That's for sure, but I suppose the other thing is it did kind of interrupt the injects, but the big deal is now that he's been busy dealing with this, his overlords have been desperately trying to get a scout into A-Chain's main, but he hasn't seen anything. The most important thing is that he has missed the mass void ray coming out of Delta Saga here.
This is actually looking a little bit like what I used to do when I was playing Protoss in Bronze League 2 years ago, when I just make a ton of Zealots with gateways because I didn't even know what a Cybernetics Core was, and then go for Void Rays because they were the most impressive looking unit and looked quite imbalanced at the time, so I just made a ton of them for the free wins. It was quite dog, and I lost a lot of sleep at night knowing that I did that all day on the ladder. But anyway, will it pay off here for A-Train? We'll have to wait and see. Metzelmat's now heading towards, does have that tower now with a bit of a Ling count. So now that he's made a ton of Lings, he's going to try and be useful with them, but yeah, he has not scouted these Void Rays at all, and they are heading out, Zepph.
He hasn't, but luckily, having seen those Zealots come out and seen not much else, he knows that having 4 gas in the Protoss bases, that the gas has to be being dumped somewhere, and he doesn't know where just yet. He doesn't know if it's DTs or air. He knows now, but he's already got some spores down in preparation. However, he's going to need a lot more than just 1 or 2.
I'm not even sure they'll finish. The Phoenix is here lifting up the Queen, and the Void Rays are going to tear her down so fast. Down that Queen goes. Of course, the Void Rays and Heart Swarm don't actually have that 3-tier charge anymore, but they do have a cooldown to pump it up into tier 2 straight away. And look at everything on the ground being decimated by this Protoss air army. And he's even following this up with a Colossus as well, getting Thermal Lance right away.
So much damage. The hatchery goes down in the blink of an eye. He's getting overlords and drones to boot. Tons of spores have to be made. He's made 9 just now. He might have made a couple more before that. So that's a huge drone investment already. Down to 50 drones to the 53 probes. This is not where he wants to be, and he's still losing stuff.
And the army of Metzelmats is completely just useless right now. Apart from the Queens, they're the only thing that can shoot up. He has a ball of Zerglings here at the Zelnaga Watchtower near A-Train's main, but what can they do?
Yeah, nothing. And the beautiful thing about A-Train's play here is that going into that Colossus transition means he's going to have the exact response he needs for Metzelmatz's response, which is Hydras. And the only other thing he has out at the moment are Lings. So if he goes for a push, he's in danger of his entire army melting. A-Train is just dictating the flow of the game here. He is making Metzelmatz dance his tune right now. He's going to make him go into Hydras and then go, Subson, I've already got Colossi in the field. And I think everyone will agree Colossi is a pretty good, I guess, counter to the Hydralisks, if you want to use the word counter. These Lings, though, might be able to delay this Nexus if they target fire.
And it looks like they will. Not much on the ground, actually, for A-Train, so these Lings are actually definitely going to deny this Nexus.
Well, he's actually going to come out now and show that he's gone for the Colossus tech, so that's nice for Metal Mats. Gets the cancel and a scout on what tech path is going down. He will probably want a Spire at some point, but the problem is that he's only just now starting to retake his 3rd base. So he's down to 2 base on a Protoss that is already heading towards 3 on a lesser drone count too, so he's in a really tough spot.
And if I was the player that wanted to be on 2 bases, I would definitely want to be the Protoss. 2-base Zerg is not actually that scary at all, especially when you've already got 2 Nexi of your own, and double Robo with constant Colossus production. He's still making Hydras though. Hydras will have speed, but even with speed, Colossus still just completely shred them to pieces. So.
Indeed. Proxy Pylon being dropped down for A-Train now. Looks like he maybe want to put on aggression very shortly. He's got a couple of probes dropping proxy pylons actually. Metal Mats is working towards a Spire. He does have a macro hatch for some extra production, and he's doing the double expand now, which I really, really like. But is he going to be able to live long enough to actually make that work? Because he could get caught in a position where A-Train suddenly comes with his big army, and you know, he can't really deal with it because he's trying to drone back up.
A lot of Zerglings just got roasty toasty there, trying to take out that 3rd Nexus of A-Train. He knows that the other Nexus positions haven't been taken. He's got units scouting the other locations on the left half of the map there. But still, the 3rd Nexus will finally go up for A-Train. And even though he's taking this 4th at the front, he's actually had some drones idling at that 3rd for a little while that weren't on rally. So just small things like that are really mistakes that Metal Mats can't afford to make right now. This is a very scary Protoss ball. Looks like we might have had a little bit of a lag spike there. They're back. We are casting from a replay, folks. And this is a good idea to take down these rocks. The shortest possible reinforcement and shortest possible attack path on the map. Okay, looks like we had a mouse lag. Wireless mouse. Oh, that's not very pro-gamer.
Oh, well, we've got 6 Corruptors on the way right now to join this Hydra Queen force, which is still going to have a lot of trouble against A-Train's army. That is a really, really scary force to contend with, in fact. But the one thing that is going in Metal Mats' favor, if anything, is that he has a bit of an upgrade advantage.
He does, but Protoss units are pretty good. We'll have to wait and see what he can do about this. The Corruptors will need to be in a perfect position. There's not too much anti-air apart. Well, actually, there's Void Rays and Phoenixes, but not that many. If he gets a giant Corruptor ball, they'll actually be largely free to pick off these Colossi, but there is still so many Zealots and Sentries on the ground as well he has to contend with, and he doesn't have that much on the ground. There's the Hydras here. He needs to keep them away from the Colossus. He needs to watch out for these force fields. A couple do get stuck. Not the best force fields in the world, so he does actually manage to retreat. But this hatchery is going to die, and that's terrible for Metal Mats. Not much he could do about it, unfortunately.
That is huge amounts of damage. It's really good that he managed to juke most of those force fields with the Hydras, but unfortunately this army is just not equipped to deal with the Protoss one. In fact, A-Train could pretty much just A-move in there and win right now. He might be playing a little bit too safe.
He is pulling back, and Metal Mats trying to catch some units on the retreat here. This isn't that many Corruptors. He still has a lot of Stalkers here. He did warp in with those proxy pylons, so he's beefed up the Stalker numbers for these Corruptors, which is actually a huge number of Corruptors trying to take down these Colossi. They do get one. There's another that's low health, and they're just shooting them down. The Colossi are now getting into the fray to try and deal with the Hydras. They pull back. The Corruptor count is starting to dwindle. Oh, they're over the Stalkers.
Yeah, that Stalker warp in really saved those last 3 Colossus. One of them is looking very under the weather, but he survives nonetheless, and that is very, very nice for A-Train because he gets to retain that. He's got the Twilight Council tech. He's getting a fleet beacon. He's got double Robo going. He is looking really, really powerful in this game as a 3-base versus, once again, 2-base Zerg. Wow.
And he is just getting +2 weapons right now. Upgrades ain't nothing to a boss when you got this many Protoss units on the field. And Metal Mats is just desperately trying to get something done here. He's long-distance mining with those drones on that 3rd because he kind of has to. It's going to start getting... He would be starting to get a little mined out in the main and the natural by now. And look at that, Tempests are on the way for A-Train right now, and why not? They're going to be a good siege unit to deal to just beef up his attack here.
Yeah, that's actually the first time I've seen a Tempest in any of the HOTS games we've gotten to cast so far.
Well, hopefully we get to see them come into the fray here, because this is still looking definitely like it's going to be an A-Train victory, unless Metal Mats pulls out the most miracle save that I've ever seen in a Heart of Swarm game, or indeed any StarCraft game. I don't think I've seen a Zerg come back from this point, but I have been surprised before, so Fingers crossed for Metzelmat's fans, because the attack on the third has restarted.
Yeah, he's going to head over there right now. Zealot denying the bottom right-hand corner base there, so no luck for Metzelmat's anywhere.
Ugh.
And this base will definitely have to be cancelled, sacrificed, whatever.
Doesn't get the cancel. Corruptors actually finding the Mothership Core. They're a decent position on the Corruptors here, but just not that many. And he now just is forced to get in here. The Tempests do join the battle. Unfortunately, they'll probably die very quickly to these Corruptors. But
wow, they are actually quite beefy units.
Yeah, they got a lot of hit points. They are a capital ship, and look at that range.
Oh,
wow,
that range indeed.
That range. So a good addition here. They will be at the back, just taking extra pot shots, and A-Train just taking a fourth Nexus down here in the, I guess, to the direct east of his main, and why not? It's just closest to his proxy pylons. It's a very well-defended and easy area for him to hold right now, and there's a huge probe transfer over there, just enough for to saturate one base.
It is actually a really smart position for him to expand to, because now he can be aggressive and defensive at the same spot. And I mean, he can park his army at the watchtower of Metzelmat's, and there's pretty much nothing that Metzelmat's can do unless he wants to sweep around by his third and go all the long way around, and then still have to go past the nexus of A-Train. It's just a great position for him, and I'm really struggling to find an angle at which Metzelmat's can exploit to kind of come back in this game. Yeah,
this is kind of... We're kind of just slowly watching someone die here, and it's kind of depressing as a Zerg fan. This is I would like to see something happen here. What can he do though, guys? We just don't know. We're looking for wrangles. We're looking for something. The third is trying to go up again. There's no way he can take a fourth here. We can see that A-Train has pylons in position to deny any possible even notions of expansions here from Metzelmat's. He can't even dream about expanding again right now. He needs to hold this third. But can he? The Tempests are coming in, and look at that range going on that hatchery already. They don't do the most damage. They're doing 30 damage. That's not too bad at all, but their rate of fire isn't too good. Anyway, the Corruptors have come. There are a lot of Corruptors here.
Tons of them,
man. Oh my god.
Wow, the army of A-Train is actually kind of surrounded with these units, but still there's just not enough on either front. The ground army has to pull out, and that leaves the Corruptors to die to all of the Stalkers. Only 3 Corruptors left on the map now, and that was his last line of defense. It does look indeed like A-Train is going to be taking game number 1 for IBM here. Indeed, drones are even joining the fight now. It's looking very, very dire in the base of Metzelmat's. It's just getting direr and direr. Yeah. If that's even a word. Tap out soon. Yeah. No doubt about it. Just more Tempests in production, because why not? Yeah, Tempests is a pretty cool unit. They are actually a fantastic unit. They're basically the long-range siege tank, flying siege tanks for A-Train. And there's the GG finally from Metzelmat's. A-Train taking a very solid Game 1 PvZ on Daybreak there. So, Zepph, how'd you feel about that game? That was actually a very exciting Game 1 for us. Yeah, it was. Really, really happy to see the Tempest being used as the first we've seen of it so far, and I'm quite impressed so far. And I think A-Train played it really, really well, going for the Zealot Harass into Mass Void Ray, into Tempest Colossus. Really cool build. Very nice build indeed. And I really like that Zealot pressure at the beginning there. It did actually do... he had the right idea, didn't do that much damage. It actually gave Metzelmat's a little bit of a lead there, but obviously getting caught a little bit unawares by that air transition did put him behind, and that kind of remained for the rest of the game, I guess, unfortunately for Metzelmat's. So GG, well played to A-Train. That takes game number 1 for IBM, and we'll see you guys very soon in game number 2.